this is working. Or is it me? I would have signed into chat, I'm not too sure. You know, this is the first time I've used this software. I've always looked at it and I thought, right, if I want to do this regularly and I'm going to do this properly, then I need to get some proper software. Let me just see if I can get in. No, I can't be bothered to do that. So I may not be able to get into the chat, but I can certainly, hopefully, I'll be able to see if anyone says anything on here. Hopefully I'm on Facebook. Anyone from Facebook here? I don't think there's anyone here at the moment. I might even just be talking to myself. And anyone from YouTube? No. All right then. Look, I'm going to be doing this. This is live. I'm talking to myself at the moment. I'm going to be on this screen here a bit later on. I'm going to be showing the market report that I did at the end of January. So it'll tell us, let's go back to this. It'll tell us how the market reacted during January, and also I've got a year-on-year report as well. Look, John McClue from Scotland. Hi, John. Thanks for showing up. Carl has said morning, Simon. Thank you. And Country Motivation said good morning as well. Thanks. Well, at least I know I'm online. Alistair says hi as well. Good. Perfect. Okay, so at least we're live on one channel. I reckon John's probably on Facebook. Anyone on YouTube? That would be interesting to see if anyone's on YouTube. It's supposed to be this superb software is supposed to join the two together. So let's see. But we're certainly, I'm almost certain we're on Facebook. Morning, Steve. Steve's showing up, and Keith as well. Okay, so my plan is to do a short half an hour. It's not going to be all me talking. Hopefully, if you guys got any questions at all, then think of those, and we'll have an question and answer session. As I say, it's the first time I'm using this software, so I've got my notes over here. On this screen here, it makes me look like something out of... Anyone remember, what was that thing? Oh, I can't remember, where he was wearing the red braces and Breakfast is for Wimps. What's the name of that? Oh, thanks, Steve. He's told me he's on YouTube. Thank you. Oh, and Mike's looking at me both, one eye on each. That's nice, eh? What was the name of that film? Anyway, it makes me look like I'm doing some sort of thing, and I've got 3 screens up. So we're on this screen here. So what I'm going to be doing is on this screen here, a bit later on, we'll go through the market report that I did, and I've got some excellent news to let you guys know about. I'm doing a newsletter as well. I've decided this year I'm going to do the newsletter every 2 weeks, and if the live show works out, I'll do a live show every 2 weeks as well, just to fill in any other gaps. Sean says morning on YouTube. Sean's on YouTube as well. Thanks, Sean. And also, I'm thinking of a name for the show. You know, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it professionally. You might as well do it professionally, and have a proper name for it. I've got a couple of ideas, but maybe you guys will come up with some ideas as well. Local Lad says morning, morning, Local Lad. Oh, right, okay, got you guys, thank you, yep. So he's local here. What else am I going to say? I'm going to stop sniffing. My mum told me off for sniffing the other day. Okay, so news about Tenerife. The weather this week has been pretty awful, and it has been pretty awful. Been cold. In fact, a little bit later on, I'll explain why Anna and I got up so early on Monday morning. But we were travelling through our town at 5:30 in the morning, and although some of you probably know anyway. Oh, Simon says, what a good idea, Mike. Mike says, call the show, Simon says. I'm not sure if you guys can see the comments, so that's why I'm saying all, you know, when they come up. 5:30 in the morning, 11 centigrade. Now that's chilly. We live in Arona, so it's quite high up, about 450 metres high. Arona itself is higher, but you know we live in the municipality of Arona, and yeah, at 5:30 that was a bit chilly at 11 centigrade. So the weather's been pretty poor, although let me show you this. Now this is the first time we use this screen, so let's see if it works. There it is. Look, I took this video before I came in. Hoping you can see that. That's Christiana's Church Square for them. Blue sky, blue sky. So, what have we got lined up for the weekend? Hopefully some reasonable weather lined up for the weekend. But the weather has been pretty poor. So I mentioned that we got up really early. Who else is coming on here? I see the things going up there. Turn up the volume. Okay, let's do this then. Thanks for letting me know, John. I'm turning it up to, okay, right, so hopefully that's, right, okay, thanks. I ought to have done a course on this really, shouldn't I, before I go? Right, okay. Hopefully that's all right then, John. You'll be able to hear me in a minute. Stephen says you can see on YouTube. Thank you, Stephen. And oh look, we've got someone from Copenhagen. Stefan's come through from Copenhagen as well. There must be a way I can put that up higher as well, rather than me keep looking down and squinting. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so information about why we got up so early on Monday. Anna and I were asked to go to Gran Canaria. I was asked to do a talk to try and extol the virtues of Tenerife to a group of American estate agents that came over from Chicago. So I was standing up on the, I've got a photograph of that somewhere, but I don't know if I'll be able to show it now. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, we got up really, really early, and it was probably, like, I think Anna got up at 4 o'clock. I got up at 5 o'clock, and then, no, I think I got up at 4:30. Anyway, this is getting boring now, and out of hand. But it was cold. We went across to Gran Canaria. We were only there a few hours, but it was interesting to meet some American agents and things. There were about 80 people there, 69 plus 15, so 78, 85 people, 84 people. A lot of agents from Gran Canaria were there as well, but I spoke in English, and most of the people spoke in English actually. But I'm pretty pleased that everyone understood. Who else have we got here then showing up? Oh, good. Thanks for letting me know that, John. John says the volume's better. Stephen says it was Lanzarote a couple of weeks ago. Weather was awful then as well. Oh well, nothing much has changed. Hopefully this weekend it will be a lot better. Nice and sunny in the UK, Jeff says. Good grief, that must be the only day of the week that it's going to be any good for you guys. Right, now then, what else have we got here? Best thing that happened in Tenerife this week. Masks have been taken off. They're not obligatory now on, in fact, when Anna and I went over on the plane on Monday, we were wearing masks, but if we'd have gone on Wednesday, we wouldn't have had to wear masks because they were taken off. Unless you go into doctors and hospitals and things like that, but public transport, so taxis, buses, aeroplanes, things like that, no mask necessary now. They might still like you to, maybe, so you've got to, if a taxi driver is wearing a mask, then it might just be polite just to wear a mask, but that's all I'm saying. But it's not obligatory anymore anyway. I'm sure they're quite happy to get rid of the bloody things themselves, if I'm honest. I feel sorry for the bus drivers. You know, you see them, I'm driving around town or going home or something, you see a bus coming the other way and they're wearing a mask, and you think to yourself, well, that's all day for you unless you have a break. Mind you, in saying that, surgeons are much the same as well, aren't they? Mike's asking to fix the weather for March. Should be all right. Mind you, it can be a bit cold, can't it, Mike? I'm sure you probably know about that. Now then, here is a bit of news. Let's just click out of this lot here, and we'll put this on the screen, and then we'll go down here. That's the Formula 1 track. Work to start on the Formula 1 track in September once again. They've been doing this for absolutely years, and probably if you look on my YouTube channel, you will see, if you look on my YouTube channel, you will see videos of what it looked like in, I'm going to guess, at 2015, something like that. It might say it on the article here when it was, no, I didn't say when it was first dug in. I suppose it's probably a bit further down, maybe. Anyway, have a look at that later if you like. Yeah, I've got videos of it. I'd like to do more videos of it as it's being done, but nothing has changed. I had 1 or 2 Formula 1 drivers there. I think Carlos Sainz came over, or Junior came over, and had a big meeting up in Santa Cruz. I'll take my watch off because it keeps on banging on the table. It might be annoying for you guys. He went up there and they were doing a big old thing about it and all the rest of it. And yeah, so maybe, excuse me, the budget. Right, so there we are. That's the amount of money they're going to supposedly spend on it. 37 million. It was 23, something like that last time I was looking at a sign, because there's a great big sign up there on the land. What else did we have? Oh yes, how about this as well? 3 arrested for building a luxury house on some land. Look at that. Some rustic land right in the middle of a banana plantation without getting any licences. So they've been arrested. I don't know what happened to the property. I suppose they get knocked down, I guess, and then everything has to be put back together. But someone's going to be in some trouble for that, because they really are thinking about, well, they really are trying to, trying to keep the countryside. Mind you, saying that, there's the complex called La Cuna, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's La Cuna going to be built on in El Puertito of Adeje. So there's a lot of things about that, a lot of uproar about that. Now then, let's have a look at this market report. I said to you also, there have been these up here. Let's do that and drag that across. So can we see that? Yeah, it's not very good, is it? But anyway, that'll probably be all right like that, won't it? Yeah, okay. Right, so this is, at the end of January, I got some figures and worked them out, and we've got some increases and small decrease, we'll see in a second, of percentages of meters squared. So the euro cost per meter squared in euros. So this is the year-on-year change. So this is going from what January 22 was like and what's January 23 like. And this is how it's gone and changed through the year. So we can see that Arona, Los Cristianos, and then I've got Adeje and Costa Adeje. Obviously, Las Americas could be in either of those as well, because Las Americas is split between Arona and Adeje, half and half. You can see the increases there. Quite a lot of increases around the Costa Adeje area. Dave's shown up. Thank you, Dave. Mike's asked me to bet on what the weather's going to be like. Obligated to use masks. No, I just mentioned that, Steiner. Possibly you're a little bit further back in the recording, but masks have now been removed as obligatory, but some people might still like that anyway. So these are costs in €1,000, thank you, Mike, for per metre squared. So I'll give you an example here. January 2022, the general area, the municipality of Arona, the average there was €2,383 per metre squared for properties that were being sold, had been sold. These are sold prices because we can get some of them. I mean, they're not exactly perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect here because nothing's really. It's all recorded on your deeds and all the rest of it. It's all recorded, but you know, if €20,000 gets put under the table, which often goes on here, you know, it's not a true report of how much that property sold for. Therefore, you know. But you can see that they've Arona itself has an increase of 3.5% between these two figures. We've got Los Cristianos, that's shot up. So Los Cristianos itself is shot up. Los Cristianos is in Arona itself. So that's shot up there. You can see the difference between those two figures. And then we've got Adeje itself, 20% increase, and then Costa Adeje, much the same. So 20% increase. So let's now have a look on the month on month. So a lot shorter gap in time. So we've got only, well, in fact, a little drop there in Arona itself since December and January 22, January 23. Again, €1,000 per metre squared sold. Slight increase month on month for Los Cristianos. We've got, again, slight increase for Adeje itself, the actual municipality. Now, this is an interesting slide here which shows the market snapshot of Arona, the actual area. So we can see that the number of properties for sale, this is in the whole of Tenerife, 9,613. That is captured at the last day or so of January, so we make a note of that. And so that's the figure of properties sold, north, south, east or west, doesn't matter where. And then we've got number of properties for sale currently in the municipality of Arona at that particular time. I say it's a snapshot, 1,688, and the average asking price. So we had the sales prices here earlier, but these are asking prices. You might think, well, there's quite a big difference there between you know, what January was. So you know, we're talking about Arona area, so Arona area there. When we're talking about January 23, it's 2,467 has suddenly jumped up. But of course, these are asking prices. So this is what we see as an average per metre squared of what people are asking, pretty obviously. So we've got Los Cristianos. So Los Cristianos, well, the office is in Los Cristianos, so we narrow down to Los Cristianos. So that 1,688 is the number we've taken from here, which is the number of properties available for sale in Arona, the actual municipality. And then in Los Cristianos, 444 properties. Again, this is the end of January, probably totally different now. And the average asking price there, nearly €4,000 per square metre. And then we go to Costa Adeje itself. Sorry, this is Adeje, the municipality. So again, same figure, 9,613 properties available for sale. In Adeje itself, 1,631. So again, the actual municipality there. And then we've got the average asking price of properties within the municipality of 3,823. Now, Las Americas is split between Los Cristianos between Arona and Adeje. So it's a little bit different, but I take the Las Americas side as being part of the under the Adeje thing. So again, 1631. So that figure comes from here. Number of properties for sale in Adeje itself, 1631. Number of properties in Las Americas, 167. So not very many properties on the market at the moment. And those properties that are on the market, the average asking price is 4,400 euros per metre squared. And then we have got Adeje again at 1631, so there's that up there obviously. So this is the number of properties for sale. Now Costa Adeje is really, really long. It goes from halfway into Las Americas right the way along through to Cayo Salvaje, which is, if you look at the map, it's a large area. So there are 948 properties for sale, or there were at the end of January. The average asking price of 4,390 euros. So everything has gone up big time. There's no real sign of them, if I'm honest. There's no real sign of them slowing down. Okay, so what's next on our agenda? We've done a bit of news. Market report I've done there as well. Now then, we've got some news, some very good news, as you can see there. I've already let the cat out of the bag, haven't I? Angie, Mummy, I don't know if you have met or seen her. There she there she is, little rat bag. Now, she was found on the street. She was pregnant. She had a chip, so they went to try and trace the owner, but the owner was nowhere to be seen. She was pregnant, and someone was hitting her in the street as well. So Anna and her friend went to go and save her. She had her babies. I've got photographs of the babies, but I haven't prepared those, I'm afraid. But the news, because you might have seen it on the newsletter anyway. So I've been given a bit of a running sort of commentary on what's been going on with her. But she's been finally rehomed. She went with our friend here, there's Anna, and our friend here, and he unfortunately came home from work one day and had two dogs, and one of them had unfortunately died. For no real apparent reason at all. So he was left with Roger the dog, and now he's got Angie as well. So there they are again. So it's all good news, really pleased about that. And then that's Roger. Happy as Larry, isn't he? Well, happy as Roger, I should say, really. And they really get on really, really well. So Anna and I are really both very, very pleased about that. So we had her since June probably of 2022, and obviously she had the babies. They were rehomed almost straight away thanks to help with K9, and I think they had a bit of an open day actually. And Anna went over there, and then they all decided who was able to rehome the pups, and then we kept her, and Anna was plodding away trying to get her rehomed, and finally got her rehomed, so that's really nice. So we're really pleased, and she's settled in perfectly. I mean, again, he sent a video of her as well. So I don't know if you're on the newsletter. If you don't receive the newsletter, then well, you can put your email in the chat if you like, or send me an email. I'll tell you what, if you go to I haven't got it on here, but there's my email address at the bottom there anyway. But if you want to go to a website which I've set up called www.contactsimon.com. All of my contact details are on there, and there's actually a button on there that says, in fact, if I just go and do this, if I can, just to practice my thing, let's have a look here, contactsimon.com, let's drag this over there, and then we'll, just to show you. So you can see here, so go to contactsimon.com, you can get the, click there, get a list of the latest 10 listings, you can get a buyer's guide, seller's guide, you can go to the YouTube channels, you can do all that sort of business. There, add yourself to the newsletter. So you click on the old face there, and then that'll get you through to a page where you can, if you aren't already registered, you can just add your name and your email address there, and then get the newsletter. So I'll send the newsletter out twice a month now, every other week. Well, I say every other week. I'm going to do one at the end of the month and one at the middle of the month. That's my plan anyway. And then if this takes off, and we had a few people here, I'll tell you, plenty of people messaging. I'll go through those in a sec. Thank you. if you want to receive the newsletter, then we'll fill in the gaps on the live show or fill in the gaps in the newsletter or whatever it is. And yeah, hopefully we'll see this through and we'll go through. Now, what name for the show? Is anyone interested in thinking of? Now, I did get someone did suggest there. I think it was Mike suggested. Call it Simon Says. So that's a very good option. And Mike, I'm going to write that in my little list up here. Simon Says. Simon Says. Put your hand on your head. That's a very good one. I didn't think about that one. I thought about Saturday Morning Sunshine Show. I'm not doing any music or anything like that. And what if it's not sunny? Hasn't been recently. It's today. So now I did think about this one, which I thought was quite funny. Something like the Wrinkly Potato Show, because we all like wrinkly potatoes. Well, a lot of us have been to Tenerife like wrinkly potatoes. I thought about Wrinkly Potato and Red Sauce Show. Well, that's a bit long though, isn't it, really? I quite like Simon Says. Any thoughts on any others? Yeah, not too sure if anyone's thought of any show. Anyway, maybe email me. There's the, if I look here, ooh, that looks very good, doesn't it? It looks quite professional. I've done that. Almost like I know what I'm doing. But anyway, my contact details are there, or go to that website, contactsimon.com, all the details are there. If you need anything, let me know. So, any questions about Tenerife? Let me just have a quick look here. Any particular questions? We've spoken about these here. Steiner, given you your answer about masks on buses. You might find some people are wearing masks on buses. So again, they say it's not obligatory, but some people will still be using them. Let's have a look here. Yeah, the good Tenerife Life. Someone says 20% increase on cost of decade. Well, yeah, but that was over a year though, wasn't it? But nevertheless, it's still a massive increase, isn't it? Mike's asked if there's any other areas that I cover. Not really, Mike, because although and I know what you're talking about, of course, because I know Mike's got an apartment over in, well, near Los Gigantes. I think it's Playa de la Arena, but I might be wrong. He'll probably tell me in a minute. But he's asking for meters squared over there, which I don't do because my wife is in Los Cristianos, and if we sort of spread out there a little bit between Los Cristianos and Las Americas, Costa del Sol, and that sort of thing, expanding, then I could go on forever. Doing all of it. Do I think that property prices will crash anytime soon? No, I don't. And the reason I don't think there's going to be any crash is because when they did crash, they didn't crash as much here as they did in the mainland. If I remember rightly, something like we had a crash of about 30% when we were talking about the credit crunch back in 2009, 10, 11, that sort of thing. But mainland was like 50% or something like that. But here, of course, we've only got a certain amount of land that we can build on. But that was a totally different thing. The banks were lending to all and sundry, weren't they? They were lending to people coming out of prison. It didn't really matter about the property. It didn't matter if you didn't have a job, because they were okay because the property prices were going up, and we'll just sell your property and then we'll get our money back. But it's not like that this time. They've learnt their lesson, so there's no real problem there, I don't think, with regard to being a major crash. We're finding it maybe a little bit more quieter on inquiries. We've got a few leads here at the moment, a few people here interested, but we're not getting lots and lots of leads in at the moment. So obviously Ukraine probably doesn't help, although they have been bolstering, not necessarily Ukrainians themselves, but Eastern Europeans have been bolstering sales because of an idea. They just want to come over and just put their money here just in case. I think they're probably thinking, look, I don't care about the price, let's just buy. I'd rather have my 300,000 euros here than in a bank over there in case we get overrun. So that's that. So no, I don't think there is going to be a major crash, no. Stephen, I would have thought the 90-day rule. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you say that, Stephen. He says he would have thought with the 90-day rule that loads and loads of people would have sold. The thing is, if anyone's living here, they could have done their paperwork. There's a golden visa. If you bought your property before, I think it's September 2013, but I always say 2014 to be on the safe side, and you paid more than 500,000 euros for it, you can apply for a golden visa, which means you can come and go as you please. And you'd have thought more people would have sold. Yeah, I know what you mean. You sort of think, oh, right, that'd be it. Then everyone will be off, and blow Spain and blow the EU really. But no, they haven't. I mean, plenty of people have because they haven't got their paperwork sorted out. But if they were living here anyway before Brexit, then and before the real Brexit or the actual, not just the mention that everyone voted, but um, the actual split, if they were here before that, then they could have done their paperwork and they could have stayed and they'd have had no problem at all. The people that have second homes here, not many of them really come for more than 90 days anyway. There might be their plan in the future to retire, and that would actually then answer one of the next questions: is a 90-day rule going to change in the future? Because if they're using it as a holiday home at the moment, there may be an option for it to be changing, because there is talk about the 90-day rule changing, which then if they're currently using the holiday home and thinking for the future they're going to retire, then that might then fall into their laps because maybe the 90-day changes. A lot of people think, yeah, well, the Brits bolster or prop up the Spanish economy. They don't. There's plenty of money, obviously, swilling around from the Brits, but there's other nationalities here that spend loads and loads of money as well. They obviously, put into the Spanish economy as well. So it's not just the Brits. But it would be nice because, even if it were to have the 90 days together and then 180 days, let's say in the summer, because a lot of people don't like coming in the summer because it can be too hot. So maybe, there's a good chance it's going to change anyway. What else have we got here? By M3, is that the M2? It's the metre square. Right, so John says buy M3, but it's actually M2 metres squared. Is that the total area of the building? Yes, it is. John, they'll take the total build area of the property and they'll split it up into obviously the metres squared, and then we'll have a figure of 2,500 per metre squared as an average for the cost of the whole property. That's how that's worked out. Yeah, that's true as well. The Good Tenerife Life says very easy to rent out properties. Obviously, depending upon licences and if you're allowed to in the complex. It's a 90-day rule going to change in the future. We've gone through that one. Gone a bit quiet on the 180 days, says Lindy. So we've just gone through that, Lindy. So hopefully we'll get some news soonish. We've had Brexit, we've had the Ukraine war, we've got the Ukraine war, we had Christmas, we've had lots and lots of things. Well, we had something about some masks as well for a couple of years. So we've had a number of things on people's minds, but hopefully it'd be nice to get something sorted out anyway, that's for sure. I've just realised this microphone's out, and I'm going to, probably got a click there, sorry. I'm going to put wearing it, but it hasn't been working. It's been working off the speakers of the microphone off the old computer. Wonder if it just sounds any better, a little bit more like Radio 2. Mike says, silence my hands off my head. Oh yes, you can take. Mike says, Simon, I don't know if anyone can read this, but Mike says, Simon says, put his hand on his head, which I said ages ago, and he says he's still sitting here with his hands on his head. So thank you, Mike. Do you rent apartments? No, Steiner, I don't do rentals, sorry, only property sales. That's it, Mike tells me, of course, Puerto Santiago. So Puerto Santiago is really at the bottom of Los Gigantes. So you see the massive cliffs, impressive cliffs. If anyone's seen it, Puerto Santiago is just outside Los Gigantes itself. Local lads, does that include balcony space as well? Well, the technical thing is, local lad, that interior metre squared is X price and exterior is half of that X price. So that's how it generally is worked out. Reads from Leeds. Hi, Reads from Leeds. So he says hello to everyone there. Risks of when your home remains empty. Well, Pierre asks, what are the risks of when your home remains empty? I mean, there are squatters around. If you have an alarm and your alarm goes off because someone's broken in, that's illegally entering the property. And as long as you get to it in quick enough time, then you can get these people out. If there's no alarm on your property and they get in and settle themselves down, that's when it becomes very difficult to get people out because it was empty. So they need homing. So therefore, that's their argument, is that they can, they're better in an empty property because no one's living there
than somewhere on the street. That's their thinking. Better on the mic. Thanks, Mike. Cheers. Oh, 2 mics in 1 sentence. No, Mike just said the microphone sounds better. Thank you. Yeah, so that's really it. So they say that if there's an alarm on the property, then you've got to get in there within 24 hours, and then you can get them out. No problem at all. So I think that's the answer. And if anyone wants an alarm fitted, well, you can have the contact details of our guys. Can't remember the name of them now. Seguritas Direct. They're the ones that we use. So we've got a name of a lady that comes into the office. Yeah, they'll get in contact with you. And I think just if anyone's going to have this question, it's about €50 a month. But €50 a month is definitely worth. Depends on what you get, cameras and things like that. But it's all done on the internet as well. You get an app on your phone. So now, if I wanted to, I could turn on the alarm, set the alarm at home from my phone. And then I can unset it as well. And we have cameras so we can see what goes on in the back and the front of the gardens and stuff like that. But that's only because we've got the animals. So, okay, well, the time is now 11:03. I've talked long enough. I've answered, I think, everyone's questions there. So, and we've had 41 people there. That's really nice. I'm really pleased that people are showing up. Thanks very much. Thanks for all your questions. I've got an appointment at 1 o'clock on a finca in... there we are, look. Anyone's interested? Las Moraditas. It's in Adeje itself. And I'm going to be showing this property here. Let's go there. And it's really like a Spanish sort of hacienda style. Look at that photograph. I took that. I'm quite pleased with that. Like a Spanish hacienda style property. And it's got some really, really nice views. Look at the roof there. Canarian roof. Like that. And it's got a pool. Let's go through here. 4 bedrooms. Pool outside. Sorry, I'm flicking through it. There we are. Pool outside with those views there. You can see here is that's Roque del Conde. Down here, Las Americas. Out to Adeje here. And then over there will be Los Cristianos. So anyway, all right. Very, very nice of everyone. Thank you very much indeed for showing up. Thanks for everyone's input. Have a lovely weekend. Think of a show name. It could end up being Simon Says. Could be Simon Says Wrinkly Potatoes. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.